everyone, so welcome to another Q&A, and before we even start the Q&A, I want to talk to you guys a little bit. So, something really exciting happened. We hit 10,000 subscribers. 10,000, guys. I know that looks like I'm holding up 5, but I mean 10. 10,000. That's so exciting. That's way bigger than I ever thought I'd ever get, and that's all you guys. That's you guys. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for watching me do what I love with the animals I love. And yeah, I'm really glad that I've been able to help people. I'm really glad that I've been able to share some of the really exciting parts of my life with you guys. So that's the first update. The second update is, if some of you guys check the descriptions, you know they're relatively the same every time. There has been some changes made to the description, including new social media links. I got a Twitter for PPH, finally. You guys have been asking me about Twitter for forever, and I've always said no, I don't have one. I used to have one, it was personal. So I finally made one for PPH, and it is just Pug Pibble Hedgie, but if you want, you know, to know how that's spelled or whatever, all my social media will be down below. I also got a YouNow account. I have not used it. I've only used it to watch people so far, but maybe at some point I will use it to stream because there is a guest feature and that's a lot of fun. So if you want to follow that, that's down there too. Another fun update. We got a P.O. box. Technically, I had planned on getting a P.O. box for a really long time because USPS keeps killing Finn's food. But I figured since we had to get one anyway, I would share it with you guys because, as some of you know, I've been wanting to decorate the pet room for months since we moved here, and I have not been able to figure out how I want to decorate the pet room, and I finally decided that one of the best ways that I can do that is to have you guys decorate it. So if you have any fan art, feel free to send it to me if you'd like, or letters. Those are fun too. I have some fan art that I've been sent in the past that I would really like to print out and put up there, so if you guys want to contribute to that, that would be great. I feel like that's a really exciting way to decorate the room, and maybe it'll finally make it look like we live here, because I don't know if you guys can tell, but we have nothing on our walls. It's a symptom of moving a lot. So anyway, I think that's all the updates. If there's more, I'll put them in the description since I'm sending you guys there anyway, and let's just get started because it's hot in here. So, for those of you new to my channel, because apparently we have a whole bunch of new people here, the way my Q&As work is I do them every single month, and the way I get the questions is by you leaving them down in the comments of the previous month's video. So, I'm going to be taking comments from July's video and answering them in August. And I just continue on because I feel like that is the best way to sort of get everyone covered. If you left a comment last month and I didn't answer it today, you can feel free to leave this same comment again, and hopefully I'll answer it next month. I answer as many questions as I can within about a 30-minute period, just so that I'm not editing all night. And yeah, that's about it. Pretty straightforward. I like to do Q&As fairly frequently because I get a lot of questions. So let's just start. I pulled up my Creator Studio app already and I'm on the video. Look at me, prepared for once. Any pets you regret getting? Also, any pets you want to get or plan on getting? What? Oh, there is movement. Okay, any pets I regret getting? No, I love and cherish all of my pets. There are some pets that I regret the way we got them, like little bear over here. He's a breeder mill puppy. No point in hiding that. He is a breeder mill puppy, and he's been sick on and off his entire life, and I really think it's because of that. And I wish that I had been more conscious of the decisions being made on his part. So yeah, there's Bear. I'm I also regret sort of the way that Knox was brought in, just because it was very rushed. I have a video where like we weren't planning on keeping him at all and I couldn't find a home for him, so we just decided to get him. And I don't recommend getting pets like that because it generally lacks a lot of preparation. So we had to get a lot of his stuff after we already had him and all of that stuff, and we weren't prepared for his vet bills, and so I regret the way he happened, but that was more of a... Knox kind of adopted us instead of us adopting him, and so it just kind of landed in our lap. So I more regret the way some of them came into my life and less them themselves, because I love them. And for the second part of your question, any pets you want to get or plan on getting? Not right now. 10 is totally our number. In fact, I think I would like to decrease our number in the future, and that doesn't mean I'm going to get rid of anybody. Of course not. It just means that I am not going to be bringing anyone in anytime soon unless we make some really big changes in our life, which I don't foresee in the near future. So we'll see. I mean, life has a way of, you know, life has a way of deciding things for you, but I'm really comfortable with the number of animals we have now. I am really comfortable with the sort of financial burden they are now. I think any more would be out of my hands. I'm getting a wire cage for my hedgehog. What do you recommend to stop him from climbing up the wire? Also, it's the same wire cage you have for your hedgehog. So you're getting a Critter Nation. Well, if you've seen some of my past videos, I used to have Coroplast on my Critter Nation. You should probably check that out because that is exactly what I recommend you do for a Critter Nation if you're worried about your hedgehog climbing. Coroplast is waterproof, which means if they get pee or poop on it, you can wash it clean, which is excellent because some people use cardboard and they have to continually replace the cardboard, and that's no fun. You can do it if you want to, but Coroplast will last you pretty much forever. I would like to put Coroplast siding back up on my cages just to sort of try and contain some of the mess that everybody makes, particularly the guinea pigs and their hay. Oh my goodness. But I haven't gotten around to it because it hasn't been a priority, admittedly. But if you're worried about your hedgehog climbing, then you should make it a priority. The furry friends asked, oh, this says it's a question for July. I should have... Sometimes I miss questions on the Q&A videos because I tend to try and deliberately ignore them, because sometimes if I don't deliberately ignore them, I accidentally answer them. Which isn't a big deal, but it just leaves me less questions for, you know, now. But she said, how long did it take you to get followers through your videos? Meaning, how long did you know before... How long before you noticed you actually made friends? I guess I want to start a YouTube channel officially, but I need to stick with it and stay motivated. My camera's busted now and I'm looking into buying another. So I have had my channel since May of 2014, but I did not start uploading regularly until probably 2016. I slowly accumulated followers until I started uploading regularly. That's when I sort of found that, because Bear, quit licking me please, honey. Sorry, I'm getting a bath over here by the dog. Once I started uploading regularly, I noticed that a lot more people were coming in because I had more content to share, because I had more things for them to watch. And so I did notice a lot of followers coming in with the more content I posted, and at the time I was only posting about once a week. Now I post once a week as, you know, a strict guideline for myself, but I also try and post even more, because the more I post, the more people it brings and the more I can share with everybody. But I also found what helped a whole lot is interacting with other people, other YouTubers, other just anything. Some of you guys might know, but I try and answer almost every single question that comes in, even as my audience has grown. I use the Creator Studio app, and I try and scroll through it before I go to bed or when I wake up in the morning, and I try and make sure that I'm answering as many comments as I possibly can, and I like to try and stay on top of that. If I let it go too long, then it gets a little overwhelming, but I think really interacting with other people is great. This year especially, I've made an effort to interact with other YouTubers. I always used to comment on videos, but like not religiously. Like I would pop in once every other month or whatever to sort of comment and say hi to other people, and I found once I started really reaching out to other people, that's when you know, things really started getting rolling. Should you get a hamster ball for your hedgehog, and should you take them on walks? You can get a hamster ball for a hedgehog, but I don't really think they're necessary. As long as you have a nice place for them to run around, you can, you know, buy playpens for them and things like that. I don't really think hamster balls are necessary. They can be a pain in the butt because hedgehogs tend to poop and pee while they're running, and of course that means you're gonna have a mess. But you totally can if you want to. A 12-inch one is the one you want to go for a hedgehog, and you will need to make sure that their nails are short, because if they're not, they can get their little toes stuck in the little air vent cracks. If their nails are too long, hamster balls become incredibly dangerous. So as for taking them for walks, that's sort of the same thing. You don't need to take them for walks like dogs. You can take them out of the cage and let them roam around. I let mine roam around on my bed or on the floor or in a playpen, that sort of thing. Oh, we have a comment from Lori from Little Lottie's Heartland. She says, oh my god, your shirt. I was wearing a Jurassic Park shirt. I love dinosaurs. What's your favorite movie? I'm new to you. If you have answered this, you don't have to say it again. I don't know if I've answered what's my favorite movie, and probably because I don't know if I have one. Okay. The issue is that I love movies a lot, almost as much as, well, maybe even more than I love books, and I love books a lot too. So I really love Dazed and Confused, which I know my audience is a little young for that movie. In the future, guys, you can watch it if you're too young for it. But I really like Dazed and Confused. I really love horror movies. There's a whole list of horror movies that I love. I love older movies, sort of the era of The Breakfast Club, 16 Candles. Oh, I really love Jurassic Park, and I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I also love all of the ones that followed, even the not so great ones. Of course, Harry Potter is really high on the list. I have Harry Potter pop Funkos all over the place, and a whole Harry Potter shelf of books right here. So Harry Potter movies, of course, are really high on the list. I don't know, I could talk for days and days about movies and TV shows and books. I'm pretty wide open when it comes to that sort of things. I even like some movies that most people don't, because for some reason I tend to like crummy movies. So yeah, sorry, that's not a very good answer, but there's a lot. I'm getting a hedgehog really soon and was wondering if a flying saucer wheel would work for it. Yeah, they can. Some things to keep in mind with flying saucer wheels: it needs to be the 12-inch flying saucer. Keep an eye on it because they're prone to breaking, unfortunately. I have one for Finn, and it's good for him, but he's only 130 grams. Hedgehogs are much bigger. So sometimes the weight of a hedgehog can wear the wheel out really quickly. So keep that in mind. 12 inches wears out fairly quickly, and sometimes it can fling poo, so you're gonna wanna clean it every day. Otherwise, you may end up with a mess. But as I mentioned earlier, ooh, man, I just dropped my phone. Why do I always drop things when I film these videos? Ooh. Anyway, would you ever get a rabbit? Yes, I would really love a pair of rabbits. But not anytime soon. As I mentioned before, I like to keep my maximum number of animals at 10. That is the... He's licking himself. There, honey. That's enough. Thank you very much. I like to keep my maximum number of animals at 10, and I really don't like to go over that ever, because I find that that is our financial limit, and also sort of my time limit. Caring for 10 animals is no joke. So yeah, I would even maybe want to sort of decrease my number in the future as my little guys start to pass, instead of staying around 10, maybe not getting new animals as frequently as I have in the past. So yeah, I would love bunnies, but admittedly I would not want bunnies and guinea pigs at the same time. So there's that sort of time frame for you. My piggies are only 3. Oh, I get this question a lot. Are you gonna be making a Tenric versus Hedgehog video? Yes, I mentioned in my Tenric video that I was gonna be making one, and I've mentioned in a vlog that I was gonna be making one. I've answered questions saying I was gonna make one. Oh my goodness. I believe in all of those I said I was gonna make one in July, and it is now August, and I have not made one, and there's a very good reason for that. The very good reason is, I didn't realize that I was going to be doing Finn's cage last month. I'm really excited I did, but I had no plans on doing it originally. But we had, you know, extra money laying around for it, and I found the things that I wanted, and even now the cage isn't done, but I had no plans of working on all of that. So I did not work on the Hedgehogs versus Tenric video. However, I have made the list on my phone, like in the notes. I want to make a new list, sort of on paper, just so I can really flesh out all of the things I want to talk about. I don't normally script my videos, and this one won't be scripted, but there's a lot of ground to cover when comparing 2 totally different species of animals, like convergent evolution. It's a hefty video to take on. I'm doing it though, I promise. If hedgehogs get frightened, do their quills shoot or get stuck in you? This is actually a comment that I get a lot in person if I have the hedgehogs out, which I always find amusing. Not that it's a silly question or anything, but hedgehogs aren't related to porcupines. Porcupines. I always say porcupines, it's porcupines. They're not related. Yeah, common misconception. Hedgehogs, their quills, sometimes they shed or they go through quilling and they'll lose their quills, but no, they don't stick on you or stick in you. And when they're scared, all they do is stick them straight up. They don't shoot them or anything like that. In fact, porcupines don't shoot them either. So yeah, no, that's totally not a concern. What you do have to be concerned with is when a hedgehog is quilling and you drop a quill on the floor and step on it. Have you ever stepped on a Lego? Stepping on a quill is worse. How do you deal with the smell in your animal room? I have my cages in my room and the smell is unbearable sometimes, thanks. Well, admittedly, I really just have to stay on top of cleaning. If I get behind on cleaning, it's pretty bad in there. And that includes cleaning out like the bugs that I have. A couple weeks ago, when was it? Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was super behind on cleaning out the bugs, and I could smell them every time I walked into the room. It was awful. You can also get an air purifier. We used to have one until it broke. I need to get a new one. I have not bitten that bullet yet, but yeah, air purifiers help tremendously, but really the real gist of it is you gotta stay on top of cleaning. Unfortunately, that doesn't always help with hedgehogs in the middle of the night. I know a lot of people, including myself, when I had them in my bedroom at night, because they're nocturnal, that's when they poop, and hedgehogs have a tendency to smell the worst as they're actively pooping, sort of like people. So there's not much you can do about that aside from the air purifier, but keeping their cage clean will help it from smelling long term. How long have you had Finn for? A year now. Little over a year, like a year and a month or two. I got him in July of 2016, and so a year and a month. Do hedgehogs need a lamp, or are there other ways to keep hedgehogs warm? There are other ways. I have a video that tells you one other way, and that is a space heater. Space heaters are good options. I used one for a long time, particularly if you have more than one animal that needs heated. The only problem with space heaters is they heat the entire room that they're in. The entire room, unless you get a little one and you set it directly in front of the cage, in which case it would be slightly less reliable, but still an option. Another option is heating your entire home, but that is definitely not an economical option. That would raise your electrical bill very high, in which case you would want to go for a heat lamp anyway, because it would be more affordable. So yeah, there are other ways, but heat lamps are definitely the most reliable and the most cost-effective. Hi, I have a very stubborn hedgehog, and when I attempt to clip her nails, she rolls in a ball, and I haven't been able to do any of them. Do you have any advice? I actually have a video about clipping hedgehog nails called the bath method, and some of you guys know I do have a fairly stubborn hedgehog myself, not Draco. It's Blaze, who unfortunately doesn't get featured on the channel nearly as much as he should, because he's very difficult to film with. But he is my tricky hedgehog when it comes to nails, and I always do his in the bath. So I will link the bath video down below, and maybe you can give that a shot. That might work for you. How many times a week should I spot clean my hedgehog's cage so that the cage does not smell? I have fleece. Okay, so spot cleaning should be probably daily, particularly if you're trying to avoid any sort of smells. So you really want to do daily. Putting a litter tray under your hedgehog's wheel will help with smells as well, because you'll be able to clean out the litter tray. That is where they do predominantly the most of their business. Cleaning the wheel daily helps a lot as well, because a lot of the smell is going to radiate from the wheel, because again, that's where they do most of their business. So if you can get to it every single day, you'll be golden. And then changing out the entire fleece either once a week like I do, or more frequently, depending on how messy your hedgehog is. Particularly younger hedgehogs tend to need their cages cleaned more often because they poop more. What is a good cage for Tenrecs? Because I want to get one. It sort of depends on where you're located. If you're located in sort of Europe, UK, essentially anywhere outside of North America, you will likely have access to vivariums, which are amazing cages for Tenrecs and hedgehogs. Unfortunately, in the US, we don't really have access to vivariums, so the next most recommended cage for Tenrecs would be a Critter Nation, I believe, at least in the US. You can make your own sort of vivarium in the US if you're crafty like that. I am not, but I mean, if you can do it, they're awesome. But yeah, if you're outside of the US, vivariums are a great option for a lot of animals, but especially for Tenrecs. And if you're within the US, a Critter Nation is a great option. I've never seen my hedgehog anoint. Is that normal? Yes, some hedgehogs never anoint. Draco has only anointed a handful of times his entire life, and he's almost 4. And all of the times he anointed, they were with really gross things, like a dirty dog toy and once a shoe. So, yeah, sometimes they never do it. How do you stay on top of cleaning to avoid it becoming overwhelming? Sometimes I find it stressful. To be honest, sometimes I find it stressful too. I've got 6 cages in there, and the guinea pig's cage is 3 times the size of all of the other cages. So sometimes it is overwhelming, and I kind of dread doing it some days, but I try and make sure that it's as easy as possible for myself by staying on top of spot cleaning. I also try and make sure that I am not totally exhausted when I do it, because I know sometimes I try and do it at night and it makes it so much worse if I'm just sitting there like, oh my god, I just want to go to bed. And I also try and keep myself in a routine, and while I'm cleaning, a lot of the time I'll listen to an audiobook, or I'll turn on a TV show, or I'll watch YouTube videos. When I'm cleaning is a lot of when I'm watching other pet tubers. So just try and make it as enjoyable as possible, and try and get yourself in a routine, because routines tend to make things easier when it comes to pets, at least. I'm thinking about buying a hedgehog, and I've heard they have diseases like salmonella, ringtail, etc. And I have read the CDC page about safety with it, such as washing your hands, etc. But I'm worried about where I should get my hedgehog and if it is safe to own one. Well, this is kind of an odd topic when it comes to hedgehogs, because I think a lot of people see online that they can be carriers for salmonella, and they get scared. But keep in mind that so can people, so can dogs and cats. You just want to practice your basic hygiene with all animals. You wash your hands after you're handling them. You wash your hands before you handle them. Don't go putting their poop in your mouth. that sounds silly saying that out loud, but you know, it's really not something to be concerned about, honestly. All animals, you need to be practicing basic hygiene with them. You're not gonna, you know, hedgehogs get poop on their feet. You're not gonna kiss their feet while they have poopy feet, that sort of thing. But quite frankly, hedgehogs need to be exposed to salmonella before they can give it to you, and that is just not very common in the pet trade. In wild hedgehogs, which are illegal to own in most places, that would be more of a concern, but in African pygmy hedgehogs, I've never even heard, not that I'm saying it doesn't exist, but I've never even heard of a pet hedgehog giving someone salmonella or having it themselves. As far as ringworm goes, again, that's something that they have to be exposed to themselves before giving it to you. I have seen a lot of times where humans have given hedgehogs ringworm, but if you're getting your hedgehog from a reputable breeder or a reputable rescue, those sort of things will already be ruled out for you. Is it okay for hedgies to have tap water, or do they need something special? Yeah, it's fine for hedgehogs to have tap water if you live in an area where tap water is okay to drink. I don't. That's why I use a Brita filter. I don't drink my tap water, so I don't give it to my pets. I found that I've had to give them, when we moved, I had to give them tap water for one night, and it made all of their poop green. The hedgehogs, that is, which is a sign of intestinal distress, or just distress in general. So yeah, I don't live in an area where, I mean, it's not dangerous to drink our tap water, but we live in a hard water area, so it's not great either. If you live in an area where water is great, then I wouldn't be overly concerned about using tap water. I know some people that live off of well water, or they live in better areas than my very urban area, and so they don't have to worry about it as much. So alright, so I think I'm gonna end it here. I actually went over my half-hour mark. I seem to always do that. I talk too much. But I do actually have to go and babysit one of my little sisters. So thank you guys so much for watching. If I didn't get to your question this month, go ahead and leave it again in the comments of this video, and I will answer it next month. Plus, if you have any new questions, you can leave those down below too. If you have a question that you want answered not in a video and you want it answered quickly, leave it on a different video. Because as you saw earlier, sometimes I don't check the comments on this on this video because I plan on saving them for other videos. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, don't forget that we have new social media down below if you want to see it, if you want to join us on Twitter and all of that fun stuff. It's all down below, plus our PO box if you want to send us some fun stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching again, and I will see you all in my next video.